May 16, 2025, 1544 local time. Colonel David Levin, callsign Sword 1, leads a formation of F-15i ROM fighters into Yemeni airspace. Altitude 24,000 feet. Every jet in radio silence. Mecon Alpha engaged. No radar, no signals, no comms. This isn't just a strike mission, it's a preemptive effort to sever the Iranian weapons flow straight toward Israel and allied shipping lanes. Ahead lies Yemen's western coastline, shrouded in dense coastal fog. Visibility, no more than 15 kilometers. Inside the lightning pod, preloaded coordinates begin to appear. Targets, Warehouse 3 and 7 at Hodeida Port. Thermal imaging shows something's off. The rooftops are far hotter than the surrounding terrain, anomalous for non-operational structures. That's all Levin needs. He banks slightly left, fuel storage tanks now dead center in the targeting reticle. At 15:46:27, the first Rampage missile drops from the right wing. 4 seconds later, the formation breaks. Each aircraft dives away on its own vector. No warnings, no lock-ons, just one missile cutting silently through the haze. And within minutes, Yemen's two most critical ports go completely dark. 1544 local time. Colonel David Levin, callsign Sword 1, leads a formation of F-15i ROMs into Yemeni airspace. Altitude 24,000 feet. The squadron flies under full MCON Alpha. No radar, no emissions, no communications. Only mission-critical transmissions are allowed. Brief, encrypted, and rare. Navigation relies solely on inertial systems. No GPS, no signal, nothing to jam. Below them, SA-6 launchers, missiles that once downed jets flying twice the speed of sound. Spacing between aircraft is precise, tight enough to coordinate, wide enough to avoid detection. No one speaks, no one breaks the silence. One wrong move could cost a life or the entire mission. This is where thousands of hours in blackout training start to matter. The F-15i ROM isn't just a strike jet, it's a custom-built ghost. Twin engines, long legs, heavy payload, designed by Israel to enter unseen and vanish without a trace. Visibility remains poor. Coastal humidity forms a thin, stubborn haze, stretching for miles around Hodeida Port. Radars stay silent. All active sensors are off limits, but the lightning pod is already scanning. In wide-field search mode, its multispectral optics isolate even minor thermal anomalies. A shift of just a few degrees Celsius, enough to expose something unnatural. On the FLIR screen, a cluster of warehouses emerges. One roof stands out, consistently hotter than its surroundings, despite no direct sunlight. Then it happens. A truck pulls away from the main bay, its metal skin still radiating heat. A faint thermal trail stretches westward from the loading dock. Exactly the kind of residual signature left by moving heavy munitions. Everything matches the satellite imagery from 3 days ago. The lightning pod switches modes. Tracking and target follow engaged. The image remains hazy, but the pilot doesn't need clarity. He only needs confirmation that the target is alive. In just a few minutes, that warehouse will vanish. 1545, Sword 111 begins its descent. The targets are confirmed. 2 warehouse roofs at Hodeida Port. Their heat signatures don't match the ambient environment. One roof runs 4 degrees Celsius hotter despite no sun exposure. In combat, that means one thing: munitions or explosives inside. The FLIR feed offers no detail, just grainy white and black contrast. No outlines, no structure, just heat. Then it happens. A truck backs out of the loading bay, leaving a distinct thermal trail. The final piece, a visual confirmation. 3 days of satellite intelligence, validated in seconds. Location, structure, approach vector, all matched. There's no time left to hesitate. The pilot locks eyes on the HUD. The weapons officer flips the master arm switch. A single word flashes on screen: hot. The first Rampage missile is seconds from launch, and once it leaves, there's no turning back. This isn't training, this is the line. Strike now, or lose a strategic target inside a wall of coastal fog. The Rampage missile drops from the starboard launch rail. No warning, no radar ping. The F-15i shudders slightly as 340 kilograms of steel and fuel clear the wing. Instant weight relief, followed by silent momentum. 4 seconds later, the formation splits. Each jet brakes hard in a different direction. The maneuver spreads radar reflection and minimizes any chance of detection. Rampage hugs the sea. It starts subsonic, but climbs to nearly Mach 1.5 within seconds. Its carbon fiber shell makes it light, fast, and hard to spot below the radar horizon. No GPS GPS, no data link, just inertial navigation and a radar altimeter, enough to stay precise. It skims the terrain, adjusting course with every contour, sand dunes, shipping containers, roof lines. It avoids them all, automatically with no signal emitted. No manpads crews ever see it coming, no alarm sound inside the port, and yet, within 60 seconds, those warehouses will no longer exist. Rampage isn't just a missile, it's a strategic strike, delivered before anyone knows there's a war outside. Up ahead lies Saleif, the second objective of the mission, but this time, everything changes. A dense cloud layer covers the entire area. Humidity and poor visibility blind the lightning pod. Passive sensors can't tell fuel depots from empty warehouses. At 1548, Sword 1-4's flight led, Captain Sarah Navin faces a brutal tactical choice. Stay dark and lose the target, or break radio silence and risk exposure. She chooses to strike. The F-15i's ANA PG-70 radar powers up. It switches from terrain following to synthetic aperture mode. Within seconds, the ground lights up like a satellite feed. Every surface, every shape. But this isn't just imagery, it's structural intelligence. A dome-shaped facility appears just off the main dock. Thick concrete, steel reinforcement. The radar returns are sharp and dense. This isn't a warehouse, it's a hardened fuel transfer station, and it's the perfect target for the next Rampage. Rampage enters its final approach, the terminal phase. Guided by inertial navigation and radar altimetry, it skims just 30 meters above the desert. A high-speed shadow, silent, invisible, undetectable. No signals, no radar cross-section, no alerts. Every obstacle, fences, containers, rooftops is pre-mapped and automatically avoided. Then, 10 seconds from impact, it pulls a 7G dive, a high-angle maneuver, shifting its trajectory for maximum penetration. At 1550-24, US satellites register the first impact. Heat surges past 2,000 degrees Celsius, enough to deform steel and ignite every flammable asset inside. Within 2 seconds, secondary explosions erupt, multiple detonations, staggered, overlapping, unrelenting. This wasn't luck, it was a surgical strike, planned by the meter, timed by the millisecond, every fuse delay, every angle, every final calculation, and when it's done, nothing remains. Only a crimson bloom, captured by orbital sensors watching from above. Popeye isn't like Rampage, it doesn't fly itself. There's no AI making decisions. The moment it launches, its optical seeker goes live, streaming real-time video back to the cockpit. Inside Sword 1-3, Lieutenant Colonel Abby Stern holds the control stick. He doesn't fire and forget. He's flying the missile, nudging, adjusting, guiding Popeye every step of the way. A high-speed data link keeps the feed stable over dozens of kilometers. The cockpit screen shows nothing but blurry grayscale. No radar overlay, no AI filters, just contrast and instinct. And somewhere in that signal, Stern must decide, miss by meters, or hit the port's weakest point dead on. At 500 meters, Popeye locks on the transformer station, the nerve center of Hodeida's power grid. Stern taps the stick. The missile shifts. At 200 meters, the laser rangefinder updates one last time. No alarms, no tracking, no interference. Just a man and a decision that will black out an entire port in less than 1 second. At 1552.38, Popeye hits the target. Less than half a second later, its 340 kilogram warhead punches through reinforced concrete. The blast delivers a pressure wave strong enough to shatter the control center instantly. Power lines go dead. High voltage breakers, transformers, capacitors, vaporized under thermal shock. Insulating oil catches fire, burning fast like industrial accelerant. From high above, the F-15i's thermal sensors register the impact zone. Temperature peaks near 1,000 degrees Celsius. Cranes go silent. Fuel pumps lose connection. Hodeida port slips into a total blackout. No noise, no signal, no light, and hundreds of kilometers away, US satellites confirm it. Yemen's busiest strategic port just lost all power in under 2 seconds. Not just Hodeida. Saleif, the last logistics port, wasn't spared either. A second Popeye launched from Sword 2-1, locked onto the dock's fuel distribution hub. This wasn't a fixed warehouse. It was a nerve center. Pressure valves, flow regulators, high-capacity pumps buried beneath the key. The missile surged to nearly Mach 1.5 in its final phase, then adjusted its trajectory, angling in for a diagonal strike. The reinforced roof didn't stand a chance. Popeye sliced through like paper, sniper. Its delayed fuse detonated only after full penetration, right in the core. A sharp blast, then metal screamed. The explosion forced pressurized fuel into the open, igniting instantly. Flames spread at over 80 gallons per second. Within 60 seconds, pumps, pipelines, and auxiliary tanks were engulfed. The dock collapsed in pieces. Its concrete shattered from the inside out. Whatever Iran planned to deliver has nowhere left to land. 3 weapons, 3 doctrines of warfare, but only one outcome: total collapse. Rampage flew low, silent, striking from depth. Popeye was hand-guided, aimed straight at the energy core. The ANAPG-70 radar activated only once, yet enough to cut through clouds and reveal a strategic kill zone. Not a single strike was detected, not one signal was intercepted, no alarms, no manpads launched, no air defenses came online. They weren't overwhelmed by firepower, they were neutralized by precision. This wasn't a dogfight, this wasn't missile versus aircraft. This was war between what you can see and what hits before you ever do. And when satellites captured the final thermal flash over Saleif, the entire Houthi logistics chain was severed, without a single boot touching the ground. Welcome to modern warfare, where a single button pressed from 24,000 feet can erase a port city in under 10 minutes. No statement, no official footage, no claim of responsibility, but by morning on May 17th, US satellites captured 2 massive heat signatures, one stretching across Hodeida, one across Saleif. Hodeida, the main transit hub for Iranian weapons transfers. Saleif, the strategic fuel choke point linking the coast to inland supply routes. Both were hit, 12 minutes apart. 3 strikes, 3 systems. Rampage cleared the path. Popeye dismantled the grid. Synthetic aperture radar pierced the clouds and confirmed the kill. No infantry entered, no tanks, no artillery, just a single squadron of F-15i jets, flown by men who understand. You don't need 100 missiles to change a battlefield. You need 3, placed precisely, at the right target, at the right second. The only question now is, if the Houthis had modern 3D radar or real-time targeting data from Iran, would surprise still have been possible? To the east, near Cana, there's movement. US ISR just tracked fresh air defense systems on the move. Radar is lighting up again, not in Hodeida this time. The question is, who fires first? You don't need to wait for the news to find out. Just follow Goba, where war is told from the perspective of those who chose the first strike.